This is Yvonne, and we're at the home of Kitty Greenwell. What do we have here?
Well, what we have is one of the largest collections of daylilies in the state. There's about 60,000 named daylilies in the world, and she has 900 different varieties here on the property. So about 1.5%, but still, that's a huge collection.
Now, how can you have so many different daylilies? I mean, how does that work?
Well, the sort of gene explosion from hybridizing has meant that you can find all different sorts of shapes, patterns, colors to the daylilies, and there's some criteria, more than I'd mention here, but basically if you're able to breed two specific named varieties in the first place and come up with a new variety that doesn't match any other variety that's been cataloged, then you get to name your new variety. So there's lots and lots and lots of them out there. And then you can propagate them as they grow. You just kind of cut the chunk in half and put it somewhere else, and then that variety just stays like a clone in the environment forever.
Wow. And do you need to let any authorities know of this new
movement
that you've made?
I believe, well, and this isn't my absolute expertise, but there's like national daylily societies and that you can register the new one with, and if they verify with you that indeed it is unique, then the name sticks.
Oh, wow.
But she's done a real good job. She has a label on every single one of her 900 varieties, and I probably have about 15 varieties at home, and I think my labels were carried off by gnomes. So yeah, I don't know what any of mine are anymore. I'm terrible about keeping track. But she keeps them all, and she also sells them. You know, she splits them and sells them. And they're pretty reasonable. So if you see one ever that you like, she's perfectly willing to dig it out of the ground, and you can take it home with you.
Well, I noticed she has a few other plants here as well.
Yeah, she's got. I mean, you know, she's a gardener. She likes to have a few other things. So she's got a few rose bushes, and there's a couple Asiatic lilies mixed in, and there's a butterfly bush here. But obviously, primarily down the side of the house, this large bed here, and then next to her outbuilding at the back, she's got another fairly large bed of lilies. Bunch more varieties, and it's worth a note too that you see a decent number blooming right now. Daylilies are sort of classed by early, mid, and late. So we're just in the middle of the early period. Some of the mids have just started to open up, and there's still a whole third of the lilies that haven't even opened yet. They won't be open for another week or two.
So she's going to have lilies for quite a while.
Yeah, they last about a month and a half, 2 months in the late spring and early summer. So it's only a couple of months a year, but wow, you know, it's I mentioned before, it's like the king of the garden, one of the kings of the garden. The original lilies, what we call ditch lilies or tiger lilies, those lilies are native to Kentucky. So they're very hardy here. They can handle drought. They can handle a lot of water. They can handle full sun, part shade. The only place they don't really do well is full shade. They'll grow there, but they won't bloom very much. And of course, they call them daylilies because each bloom opens for one day and then falls off. But each bract will hold 8 to 10 blooms, so each stem will have 8 to 10 days worth of blooming on it. The other thing is kind of interesting. We mentioned, I think you may have heard at the winery there, they've made wine from daylilies. The entire daylily plant is edible. The Greeks, ancient Greeks, used it as food crop. They didn't think of it as pretty, they just ate it. And the entire plant is edible, so you can just rip a leaf off. I have them sometimes on salads. They're lettucey with a little hint of pepper taste to them, so they're very tasty.
I was going to ask you how that tasted.
Yeah.
Now, does the taste vary with the type of lily that it is?
I haven't noticed that. To me, they all taste a little lettucey and a little peppery.
Fantastic. Well, you know, the one thing that I've noticed about the garden here is that there's so much color, and they're so vibrant. It's so very pretty.
Yeah, and of course, they do have a range, right? There's purple to pink to yellow, orange, mostly hot colors, but you know, purple and pink get in there too. No blue daylilies.
You're right. There are no blue daylilies. Oh, that's something new that you could come up with.
Well, I don't think they got the genes for it. But if I did, I would be a very rich daylily grower.
Well, these are wonderful.
They are indeed.